With one episode left in The Handmaid's Tale's sixth and final season, the tale of June and Nick's inevitably doomed romance has been brought to a close, though their fate was sealed long before episode 9's explosive events. Hulu's series adapts Margaret Atwood's incredibly relevant dystopia to screens, as a theonomic dictatorship overtakes America, forcing fertile women into the role of childbearing slaves. The Handmaid's Tale follows June Osborne, a woman who tried to escape the regime but was forced into the role of handmaid, though her time under Gilead's rule brings her into contact with Nick Blaine, Max Minghella. While Nick serves as a driver under Commander Fred Waterford, Joseph Fiennes, the leading Gilead figure that June was assigned to as a handmaid, the pair develop a romantic relationship. The pair's relationship endured for some time in The Handmaid's Tale's early seasons, but it soon became evident that their paths were going their separate ways, as Nick rose to the rank of commander and June became more extensively involved in resisting Gilead. Ultimately, Nick's loyalties lay with Gilead, and he would pay the price among the other commanders when a bomb was stowed away on their plane, bringing him a fiery end. A June and Nick happy ending wouldn't have fit The Handmaid's Tale. Their histories would make any hope of a typical happy ending feel jarring. The world of The Handmaid's Tale is one of horrifying, frightening, and increasingly relevant tyranny, as Gilead strips all women of any measure of power they may have, be they handmaids, aunts, or even the loved ones of its leadership. As such, having the series end with June and Nick in a blissful, unproblematic relationship was never on the cards. Not only had June been a victim of its system, but Nick had long prospered under the regime, and had even played a part in its rise to as such. The Handmaid's Tale leaving the pair in a peaceful step that never addresses these key developments would feel counterproductive to any messaging. June had given everything to her cause and had suffered greatly for it, meaning that any conclusion where the pair never addressed Nick's place would do a disservice to her character. Furthermore, Nick's journey may have shown a softer side at first, but it is clear by the end of his story that he will never fully leave behind his place in Gilead's dark history. Nick was never a truly good person. Nick may have been good to June, but his views on the world depended on how he could benefit. Nick is an incredibly complex figure who is given an extensive expansion when compared to his counterpart in the Handmaid's Tale novel. While his role as a driver in his initial introduction sets him up as just a smaller cog in the machine that is Gilead, it is later revealed that Nick was an early member of the Sons of Jacob before they orchestrated the takeover of America and the formation of the new regime. As such, he had a direct hand in bringing in the laws that would force June and many other women through unspeakable horrors. Even as Nick tries to resist and atone for his misdeeds through aiding June and the Mayday resistance, there are limits to what he will do against Gilead. While he and Commander Lawrence, Bradley Whitford, are restricted in what they can do while keeping face with the rest of the Gilead leadership, Nick's allegiances can shift depending on the situation and how it benefits him, and by extension, June, due to their relationship. Lawrence is dedicated to righting his wrongs, on the other hand, to the point he vows to stay in Gilead, to clean up his mess. The Handmaid's Tale Season 6 firmly solidifies Nick's instincts when he reveals rebel plans to his father-in-law in order to save June, leading to the deaths of multiple Jezebels. When this act shatters their bond, Nick doesn't try to atone for his actions as he did before, as doing so no longer benefits him. Nick instead rejoins the other commanders on the plane. As the plane takes off, Nick states that he was choosing the winning side, showing that, despite any growth, deep down, he would only side with those who could give him something, rather than doing what is right. Nick always seemed likely to die in Gilead. No man can walk away from Gilead unimpacted. However, even if Nick had chosen to atone for every mistake he had made, it can be argued that his fate had been sealed the second he brought Gilead into existence. Had Nick decided to dedicate himself to protecting those he cared about, it is possible that he could have given everything against the regime in an act of self-sacrifice. As someone who helped usher in Gilead out of self-serving reasons, giving his life to bring it down would be the ultimate sign that Nick had changed for the better. However, if Nick had lived, be it as a commander upholding the regime or a resistance fighter bringing it down, it is still unlikely that he would have received a happily ever after with June. Even if she recognizes his change, it doesn't absolve Nick of the sins he had committed in the name of the regime, and any likely incoming government would still wish to put him on trial for the part he played. This is something Lawrence recognized would happen to Nick even if he fled with the evacuated children. As such, Nick had written his ending the second he joined the Sons. June and Nick's romance was still one of the best parts of The Handmaid's Tale. For a time, their bond was a beacon of hope in a very dark world. Nick, Max, Minghella, June, Elizabeth, Moss, The Handmaid's Tale, Season 6. Even without any chance of a happy ending, June and Nick's relationship still played a significant part in The Handmaid's Tale. Even after the series had long left, the events of the Handmaid's Tale novel behind, June and Nick's relationship offered both the characters and audiences a spark of hope in an incredibly crushing world. For June, she had found someone who seemed willing to bring down those who brought her pain in her darkest moments before her escape, while she seemingly pushed Nick on a path of redemption. As such, June and Nick's bond is elevated in several ways from their counterparts in the source material, as the pair grow closer than simply having a brief affair and spark a genuine, loving romance. While Nick is self-serving, he still chose the options that he believed could benefit him and June when they were together. When paired with Moss and Mingella's chemistry, the pair's tragic tale will undoubtedly be one of The Handmaid's Tale's most memorable elements following the airing of the final episode.